Over 30 years, Stanley would have paid $697,703 in rent. So how much rent would Stanley be paying over time? Well, a common rule of thumb is to assume that rent per month is between 0.8% and 1.1% of the value of the house, the market value of the house. So in 1995, if Stanley had been renting that house, then he would have paid $1,040 a month, but rents do rise over time because house prices do rise over the time, and that's why his rent is what it is today. Over 30 years, Stanley would have paid $697,703 in rent. When we include rent in the cash flow model, the internal rate of return, in addition to the S&P 500 outcome, his return goes from 10.88% to a negative 0.11% over 30 years. From month one, Stanley was paying more in rent than Barbara was paying for her mortgage payment, her insurance payment, her property tax payment, and her maintenance and repair costs from the first month. Now, the rent increased over time, and so did some of those costs, but the mortgage did not. And so the gap widened over time. Over 30 years, it widened pretty significantly. So when you look at this with Barbara putting the same exact amount down and taking the difference between her total monthly payments and what Stanley pays in rent and using that difference to invest in the S&P 500, here's what happens. After 30 years, her home's net value after 5% closing costs is still $398,355. Her side S&P 500 investments grew to $724,835. Barbara's total net worth becomes $1,123,190, and her overall return across all cash flows rises to 3.07% annually. Stanley's S&P 500 balance doesn't change at $720,200. Here, Barbara decidedly wins when you're measuring exact cash flows.